Hi guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Fabiola Gironi and this week it's been a little bit of a mess because we're actually getting ready to fly to California tomorrow morning. So I wasn't maybe 100% concentrated on the painting of the week. The most important part is to remember that this is a journey and that we need to be patient, we need to persevere, and we need to be practicing all the time, and we need to be consistent. And that's all we can do.
Okay, let's get started. This week we are painting Ryan Sands. I decided to paint ants while doing something. So I wanted the hands to be engaging muscles, and in this case it was actually pushing, pulling, and twisting. So a pretty complex gesture. We are still painting in oil. We are painting on Moleskine paper. I prepared the paper with an acrylic binder, and we're just diving right in. We are using just cadmium red, pitalo blue, and white, titanium white. So we have three colors, and we have no option to really get a realistic look of the skin. We can get some maroons and wine colors, we can get pinks, and we can play with warm and cool, but we are not gonna have skin color. We would need also some kind of yellow to achieve that. But I thought, okay, we're gonna paint ants, and when I think about hands, I think about work, I think about expressionist. So I don't really care about getting it that realistic, and I want for the texture of the paint to be strong. I wanted to communicate power. When I think about hands, I think about Auguste Rodin, and I think about this powerful and really strong hands. And I think about expressionistic paintings like Kokoscha, where the paint is really materic, and the red speaks of blood and about the heavy circulation of blood that we have in the fingers, especially in the knuckles and in the fingertips. So I went right in with pure cadmium red. And maybe the problem was that I did second guess myself, and I believe that I ended up overworking this painting. And even if at the end I finished it, I really had to fight with the paint, and I think that kind of ruined it a little bit. But I also believe that it's important to show you that every artist has tough moments, and that every artist at any level ends up scraping a painting, and or maybe working too much, maybe overworking it, and that's totally normal, and it's fine. It's part of the learning process, and we can't expect every time to paint to nail it. And I don't even want to hide this in my videos, because I really wanted to show the struggle of being an artist and the way we train. I don't want to show you how I can perfectly paint a pair of ants every time, or a perfect portrait. I want you to know that I, as everybody else, make mistakes, and the important part of this process is a path towards a better self and a better artist that we can become. And pain is part of the process, and failure is a very important part of learning and improving. So lately I've been following an artist, his name is Denis Sarrazin, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right, and he is so good, so insanely good. He paints hands, and he really channels the energy of Chile, but he is such a master in the way he designs, and Chile was such a master too, but Dennis has a perfect knowledge of anatomy, and he hands-on paints with the precision of a surgeon. And his colors are very powerful and very simple. Yeah, definitely check out the work of Kokoscha if you don't know him. I love the way he handles paints. It's very materic, it's very gestural, it flows freely, but it's also very thick, which is something that I did in this painting, especially on the right hand. I ended up really kind of caking the paint on, which is not that great, but it can really gives a feeling of a sculptural feeling to painting with oil. I want to end with a little story. Before the lockdown, I went out for movie night with my husband Ryan, and we went to watch the movie on Michelangelo. It was really interesting because in the part where Michelangelo is working on the Chapel Sistina, La Cappella Sistina in Rome, he was working for a very long time, and the Pope really wanted to see it, but Michelangelo would do anything he could to stop from anybody to see his work, because it was a shame. He thought the work was not good enough, and I think that's such an important example of how a master of such level, in the peak of his career, doesn't even think that his own work is good enough to show. And in that case, La Cappella Sistina is a masterpiece, because as artists we always have such high expectations of ourselves, and we really want to be better than we are. It doesn't change. The story is still the same. I believe the mistake is to compare ourselves with artists that are on another level, and so it's really bad for our self-esteem to do that. It's important instead to compare ourselves with our past self and with nobody else. And this is true for not just for painting, but for any kind of skill and activity. And so, please, if you're an artist and you struggle like I do, just remember, go back and look at your drawings and your paintings of 5 years ago, and then compare to what you're doing today, and you will see a huge improvement. And that's what we need to focus on. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next week, and we'll talk from Los Angeles, and we'll be painting more. So keep up the good work, guys out there, and have a great Sunday. Bye bye.